Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to these Bible readings. So I'm going to be reading from the book of Genesis out of the Passion Translation. Genesis chapter 1. When God created the heaven and the earth was completely formless and empty, with nothing but darkness draped over the deep. God's Spirit hovered over the face of the waters, and then God announced, "Let there be light," and light burst forth. And God saw the light as pleasing and beautiful. He used the light to dispel the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. And so evening gave way to morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome between the waters to separate the water above from the water below." He made the dome and called it sky, and separated the water above the dome from the water below the dome. Evening gave way to morning, day 2. God said, "Let the waters beneath the sky be gathered into one place, and let the dry ground appear." So it happened. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw the beauty of his creation, and he was very pleased. Then God said, "Let the land burst forth with growth, plants that bear seeds of their own kind, and every variety of fruit tree, each with power to multiply from its own seed." And so it happened. The land flourished with grasses, every variety of seed-bearing plant, and trees bearing fruit with their seeds in them. And God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. Evening gave way to morning, day 3. And God said, "Let there be bright lights to shine in space, to bathe the earth and their light. Let them serve as signs to separate the day from night, to signify the days, seasons, and years." So it happened. God made the 2 lights, the brighter light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He also spread the tapestry of shining stars and set them all in the sky to illuminate the earth, to rule over the day and to rule over the night, and to separate the light from darkness. God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. Evening gave way to morning, day 4. God said, "Let there be life. Let the waters swarm with every life. Let the sky be filled with soaring birds of every kind." God created huge sea creatures and every living creature that moves of every kind, swarming in the water and flying in the sea, according to their species. God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. God blessed them, saying, reproduce, and be fruitful. Fill the waters of the sea with life, and the earth with flying fruit birds. Evening gave way to morning, day 5. God said, "Let the earth produce every class and kind of living creature, livestock, crawling thing, wild animals, each after its kind." So it happened. God made the wild animals according to their species, livestock according to their species, and all the creatures that creep along the ground according to their species. And God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. Then God said, "Let us make a man and a woman in our image to be like us. Let them reign over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the livestock, over the creatures that creep along the ground, and over the wild animals." So God created a man and woman, and shaped them with his image inside of them. In his own beautiful image, he created his masterpiece. Yes, male and female, he created them. God blessed them in his love, saying, "Reproduce and be fruitful, populate the earth and subdue it. Reign over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every creature that lives on earth." And God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant growing throughout the earth, vegetables, and every fruit-bearing tree with its seed within itself. They will be your food. They will also be food for every animal and bird, and every creature that moves on the ground, every creature with the breath of life." And so it happened. God surveyed all that he had made and said, "I love it," for it pleased him greatly. Evening gave way to morning, day 6. And so the creation of the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had completed creating his masterpiece. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. So God blessed the seventh day and made it sacred, because on it he paused to rest from all his work of creation. This is the account of the heavens and the earth after they were created. There was yet no vegetation, grains of the field, or shrubs sprouting on the earth, for there was no one to cultivate the land. And Yahweh God had not yet sent rain. On those days a mist arose from the soil and watered the whole face of the ground. Yahweh God scooped up a lump of soil, sculpted a man, and blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man came alive, a living soul. Then Yahweh God planted a lush garden paradise in the east, in the land of delight, and there he placed the man he had formed. Yahweh God made all kinds of beautiful trees to grow there, fruitful trees to satisfy the taste in the middle of the garden. He planted the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Flowing from the land of delight was a river to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 branches. The first river, overflowing increase, encircles the gold-laden land of Havilah. The gold of that land is pure, with many pearls and onyx found there. The second river, gushing, flows through the entire land of Cush. The third river, swift flowing, flows east of Assyria. And the fourth is the river fruitfulness. Yahweh God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to work and watch over it. And Yahweh God commanded him, "You may freely eat of every fruit of the garden, but you must not eat of the tree that gives the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will most certainly die." Then Yahweh God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. Therefore I will fashion a suitable partner to be his help and strength." For Yahweh God had formed from the soil every animal of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them before the man to see what he would call them. So whatever the man called the living creature, that was its name. He gave names to all the various cattle, birds, and wild animals, but Adam could not find a fitting companion that corresponded to him. So Yahweh God caused Adam to fall into a deep trance, and while he slept, he took a portion of Adam's side and closed its place with flesh. Then Yahweh God used a portion of Adam's side and skillfully crafted a woman and presented her to him. Then Adam said, "At last, one like me. Her bones were formed from my bones, and her flesh from my flesh. This one will be called woman, for she was taken from a man." For this reason, a man leaves his father and his mother to be unselfishly attached to his wife. They become one flesh, as a new family. The man and his wife felt no shame, unaware that they were both naked. Chapter 3. Now the snake was the most cunning of all living beings that Yahweh God had made. He deviously asked the woman, "Did God really tell you you must not eat fruit from any tree of the garden?" But the woman interrupted, "We may eat the fruit of any tree in the garden except the tree in the center of the garden. God told us, 'Don't eat its fruit, or even touch it, or you'll die.'" But the snake said to her, "You certainly won't die. God knows that the moment you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil." Then the woman saw that the tree produced delicious fruit, delightful to look upon and desirable to give one insight. She took its fruit and ate it. She gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he also ate it. Immediately their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. Vulnerable and ashamed, they sewed fig leaves together for coverings. Then Adam and his wife heard the sound of Yahweh God passing through the garden in the breeze of the day. So they hid among the trees, concealing themselves from the face of Yahweh God. Then Yahweh God called Adam's name and said, "Where are you?" Adam answered, "I heard your powerful presence moving in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." "Who told you that you were naked?" God said. "Did you eat the fruit of the tree that I commanded you not to eat?" Adam pointed to the woman and said, "The woman you placed alongside me, she gave me the fruit from the tree, and I ate it." So Yahweh God said to the woman, "What have you done?" The woman pointed to the snake and said, "The shining snake tricked me, and I ate." Yahweh God then said to the snake, "Because you have done this, you are cursed above every wild animal, condemned above every creature of the field. You will slither on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will place great hostility between you and the woman, and between her seed and yours. He will crush your head as you crush his heel." Then God said to the woman, "I will cause your labor pains in childbirth to be intensified. With pain you will give birth to children. You will desire to dominate your husband, but he will want to dominate you." And to Adam he said, "Because you obeyed your wife instead of me, and you ate from the forbidden tree, when I had commanded you not to, the ground will be cursed because of you, and you will eat of it through painful toil all the days of your life. It will sprout weeds and thorns, and you will eat the plants of the field. You will painfully toil and sweat to produce food to eat, until your body, taken from the ground, returns to the ground. For you are from dust, and to dust you will return." The man named his wife Eve, which means life giver, because she would become the mother of every human being. Yahweh God made garments from animal skins to clothe Adam and Eve. And Yahweh God said, "The man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And now he might take in his hand fruit from the tree of life and eat it and live forever." Therefore Yahweh God expelled him from Eden's paradise to till the ground from which he was taken. He drove them out of the garden and placed fearsome angelic sentries east of the Garden of Eden, with a turning fiery sword to guard the way of the tree of life. Chapter 4. The story of Cain and Abel. Now Adam had slept with his wife, and she conceived and bore a son named Cain. She said, "By the grace of Yahweh I have birthed a man." Then later she gave birth to Cain's brother Abel. Abel grew up to be a shepherd, and Cain became a farmer working the ground. After some time passed, Cain presented an offering to Yahweh from the produce of the land. Abel also brought his offering from amongst the fine of the firstborn of his flocks. Yahweh was very pleased with Abel and accepted his offering. But with Cain and his offering, Yahweh was not pleased, making Cain very furious and resentful. So Yahweh said to Cain, "Why are you so angry and bothered? If you offer what is right, won't you be accepted? But if you refuse to offer what is right, sin, the predator, is crouching in wait outside the door of your heart. It desires to have you, yet you must be its master." One day, Cain said to his brother, "Let's go out into the field." When they arrived at the field, Cain rose and attacked and killed his brother Abel. Then Yahweh said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" He answered, "How do I know? Am I my brother's keeper?" Yahweh said, "Listen to the voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. What have you done? Now you are banished from the land, from the very ground that drank your brother's blood from your hand. When you try to cultivate the ground, it will no longer produce crops for you, and you will be a fugitive, a homeless wanderer." Cain said to Yahweh, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Look, you've thrown me off the land today, and now I must hide from your presence as a fugitive and wander on the earth. Anyone who meets me may choose to kill me." Yahweh responded, "Not so. If anyone kills you, I promise the sevenfold vengeance of Cain will be released upon him." So Yahweh put an identifying sign on Cain as a warning so that no one would dare kill him. Then Cain left the presence of Yahweh, the journeyed to the land of wandering, east of Eden. The family line of Cain. Cain slept with his wife, and she conceived and bore Enosh. Cain was building a city at the time, so he named it the village of Enosh, after his son. Enosh's son was Irad, and Irad's son was Mehujael, and Mehujael's son was Methushael, and Methushael's son was Lamech. Lamech married two women, Dawn and Dusk. Dawn gave birth to Jabal, the first of those who lived in tents and raised livestock. Jabal's brother was Jubal, the first of musicians who played instruments. Dusk gave birth to Tubal-Cain, the first of blacksmiths who forged all kinds of bronze and iron tools. His sister was Naamah. Lamech boasted to his wives, "Listen to me, Dawn and Dusk. Mark my words, O wives of Lamech. I have killed a man for wounding me, and a young man for bruising me. If killing Cain costs 7 lives, for Lamech it will cost 77." Adam slept with his wife again, and she bore a son who she named Seth, meaning appointed. For she declared, "God has appointed for me another son to replace Abel, because Cain killed him." After many years, Seth had a son named Enosh. During his lifetime, people began to worship Yahweh and pray to him.